Hey, it's me, ProJared. Welcome back to Deathgate. Where we last left off, we're in the City of Stone in a deserted town, where in the previous screen there was a dead worker. It looks as if this was once a spring-fed pond, continually replenished. That was long ago, however, now the ground isn't even damp. I didn't even look at this screen. I probably should have done that. Maybe we could do something to this pond later. A few struggling plants poke out of the ground. Furrowed rows and the thin dirt indicate that the field was once blanketed with strange grass. However, many seasons have passed since the field has seen any life-giving water. And Jethro here, ya boy. There's a lava river. Anything back here? City landing, fields. Oh, you can see Jethro. He's all the way back there. Oh, a cave? Enter the cave. Oh, this is the cave. Wait. Take the rocks. Take the rocks. Throw the rocks at the snake? Oh, I just have put. Alright, never mind. Put the rocks in the bucket so I can use the bucket as a weapon. Check these houses. You stand in the foyer of a small house. Stairs lead up to another level and double doors are set in the east wall. Hi, sir. You have some furniture. Anything else looking spooky?
How may I be of assistance, sir?
Who are you?
My name is Aramas. I serve Balthazar, the master of the house. His work is very important and cannot be disturbed, so he retains me and a few other servants to handle the domestic work.
Who else does Balthazar retain to serve him?
In addition to myself, Balthazar employs a nanny who cares for the master's young children, and a housekeeper who does the cooking as well.
So not Jethro in the fields?
Who is Balthazar?
Balthazar is the personal necromancer to the king of Khan Telest. He's one of the most celebrated sorcerers in the city.
So he's got some magic.
What important work is he doing?
He does what all necromancers do. He resurrects and sustains the dead so that they can serve the living. But he also spends much of his time researching new magic arts. It's not a very popular activity among other necromancers. In fact, it used to be a crime. But as my master was mentor to most of the others, and because he is a man of power and influence, his research isn't questioned. Not that Balthazar would care in any case.
I'm sure that's fine.
What magic arts is he researching?
What do I look like? A necromancer? I'm just his personal servant. I don't pry into his work. It could be hazardous to my health.
Right.
Enough about your employer.
Let's talk. I don't want to talk about him anymore.
What's behind that door?
That's my master's study, wherein he works his magic and researches the mystic arts. It is off limits to everyone, including his children, especially his children. The volatile nature of his work makes even the briefest visit potentially fatal.
Daddy's going to work in his office. No one come in.
Why do you have a key chained around your waist?
I didn't notice the key.
This is the key to the study door. My master requires his privacy. I only open the door to give him his meals and when he breaks for tea. Right now, I am waiting for the housekeeper to give me the tea tray. The master will be expecting it soon.
Okay, so if perhaps a tea tray shows up, you'll be opening the door?
When exactly do you expect the housekeeper to bring you the tea?
Oh, she should be along any time now.
Okay.
Could you go in and give him a message for me?
I can only enter at predetermined times when it's safe to do so. I cannot enter simply to give a message to him.
Okay.
Perhaps we
As you
Let's see. Let's see.
Why are you standing around? Aren't you dead?
dead, dead tired maybe. I don't get enough of rest. Lately, even the act of standing upright has become difficult. I need a vacation.
Where is everyone?
Where is who? Whom did you expect to find? I believe you'll find the children upstairs with the nanny, and the master hard at work in his study.
Are they gonna be like normal kids, or are they gonna be like Zom-Zoms?
Could you accompany me?
Regrettably, I cannot. I have to serve my previous charge. I must stay here as long as my master desires.
I feel like there's a little bit of Hoplo just really desperate for friends. Like, hey, would you accompany me? Please?
You're as interesting as a corpse. This conversation is over.
Got him! Can I go upstairs?
The smallest people made their home.
The cramped nursery holds a few items: an empty crib, a tiny table, and a rocking chair occupied by an old woman.
When all the arrows point the way.
The empty stone crib is covered by a thick blanket of dust. There's no kids here.
Just out of sight.
Hey.
Don't look too close, they'll run away.
The dead nanny ignores you, her decayed brain totally engrossed in the task of reading aloud from the children's book.
Hey, Grandma, over here!
The animated corpse pays no attention to you. She just continues to read from the book.
Give me that book. Maybe if you didn't have your nose in it, you'd notice that I'm trying to speak to you.
The dead nanny ignores you and continues to read, so you decide to remove the book yourself. You slide the book out of the dead nanny's wrinkled hands. She doesn't resist, but no sooner is the book gone than she stops speaking. Her eyes go blank, and she sits motionless. Maybe I can give her a different book?
Who are you?
I'm the nanny of this family. I take care of the children while the master does his research. In fact, I should be reading to the
There's no
children
kids.
right now as they go to sleep. Have you seen my book?
Why do you read the same rhyme over and over?
I read until the children have gone to sleep. I must read now. Where is my book? I can't find my book.
Who do you read to?
To the children. Aren't they precious? I've taken care of children most of my life. I love to read to them. I should be reading to them now.
I like the way you say children.
Would you accompany me? I know where your book is.
You know where my book is? Please take me to it. I must read to the children. They can't go to sleep without their rhymes. They need me, you see.
Oh, she's actually going with me. Okay. Now I've got the tea set, so I can... Hold on. Not magic. Let's read the book. Is this an actual children's book? Alright, there might be a clue in here, so let's read through it. The smallest people made their home in caves and caverns all their own. They'll only come outside to play when all the arrows point the way. Oh, maybe without the door? Which way, you ask? Where are they found? Just out of sight under the ground. Don't look too close, they'll run away unless the arrows point the way. Okay. The day. Yellow night, sky is bright, all the world is filled with light. Just because sun's above, every heart is filled with love. Dom, that one sucks. Get that snake! Grab that snake and hold him fast. Don't let him go. Grab him quick or you won't last if you're too slow. These poems suck. One makes forward and one left over. One we've got is just a cave. Started out warm, but got much colder. It's just like living in the grave. Where are the others? They disappeared. Perhaps something went very wrong. If they survived, not like we feared, why have they stayed away so long? You leave the book open to the rhyme 4 in 1. Yeah, it might be important. I guess let's go. Hey, I'm taking your nanny. Is that cool?
How many?
Why do you...
This
When is he doing it?
Do you think you could open the door for me? The master is expecting my visit.
The master isn't expecting anyone today. And even if
Okay. What if I take the key?
Why don't you let me carry that key? It looks a little heavy for you.
it's strange. Lately this key has seemed heavier than ever. But it is my duty
Whoa.
to hold it for my master. I shall never let it out of my possession while I live.
Sorry about your allegorical burden.
But you're dead, so give me the key.
I'm
You're dead,
not
mine!
Dead, just a little confused. I did have a bad fight with the plague some time ago, but I pulled through. I'm here, aren't I? Though since then everything has seemed somewhat fuzzy.
Is there any other way into
A
the
window?
There is a window,
Oh.
but it's very high off the ground.
Oh.
Too dangerous to enter or exit. The master may...
Damn.
study? Perhaps...
As you...
Who are...
My name is Aramas. I serve
Alright, I already talked
There's
to you
the
about
house.
this stuff, didn't I?
Actually,
There's
why can't he be disturbed?
an interruption at the wrong time could have disastrous results.
Yeah, right.
Is that why that door is locked?
Yes,
Got it.
Enough about you.
as you...
What?
Well, this
Oh, here we
is
go.
the city of Telestia, one of the oldest and grandest cities in Abarak, aside from the cities in Kar Nekros at the world's core. We've lived here for thousands of years, and we're very proud of our accomplishments. Telestia was built by the dwarves for the other mensch races when they were all still alive.
That was nice.
The dwarves themselves lived in caves not too far from here. Some of the dwarves' artistry remains throughout the city. For example, the iron statue in the clock tower is ancient. It is the exact likeness of Clytus the first in the line of dynasts who have ruled over Abarak. The detail is excellent.
Yeah.
Even
Ooh.
the royal scepter,
iron statue that
still
could perhaps-
carried by Clytus the 14th, is a perfect replica of the original. They say that the statue was made by Clytus the First's personal dwarf slave after the dwarf went mad. The madness obviously didn't affect his artistic talent, though.
Damn. That was a lot of lore.
Enough of...
As
You're a...
I got the tea. You hand the tea set over to the dead butler. He accepts it gravely and looks over at the double doors. Then he just waits. Oh, are you not gonna...
how may
Now that you have the tea, what are you waiting for? Open the door and give it to your master.
Yes, I do have the tea, but I must wait until the appointed time until I open the door. Otherwise, I might interrupt a vital experiment. That would be disastrous for Balthazar's research, and perhaps for myself as well.
What time is tea served?
The 4th hour. I'll recognize it when the tower clock strikes 4 bells. He expects his tea at the same time every day.
Got it.
You're
That's all I
a-
need. I got it. Okay. There happens to be a clock tower right here, and it's nowhere near 4. Enter. Well, the base of the tower is unadorned. The ladder leads up, but is broken. A rope hangs down within reach. Oh, wait. Can I actually put the rocks in the pail? Put the pail on the hook? Now, can I climb it? Climb the ladder? The ladder's condition is contagious. Anyone climbing it is liable to break something. Chances are, it'd be your neck. Oh, you grab the hanging rope and call yourself up. The nanny grabs onto the rope and tries to climb it, but falls down. She regains her feet, but just staying silently. Alright, just stay there, lady. You stand on a small platform behind the clock's mechanism. The back of the clock faces up the west wall. So we got... There's a weird track, some doors. 2 metal doors are set into the walls of the tower along the track. Presumably, they open when the statue wheels along it, stroke on the hour. So these doors can open? Oh, I can turn the time dial. You strain at the rusty dial for a few moments. Eventually, you're able to advance the clock's hand to just before the 3rd mark. Say escapement. The escapement is part of the clock's mechanism. When a weight pulls and unwinds the rope from around the drum, the escapement only allows it to drop in small increments. This causes the gears to turn slowly, moving the clock's hand at a steady pace to ensure accurate time. Currently, the drum's rope is completely unwound. Oh. So... Oh, because I put the bucket down there with the rocks, this will actually turn the time. Okay, I gotcha. So if I pull this, you pull the release lever, but nothing happens. Wait, no. Clock drum. Turn the clock drum. Ah, there we go. With both hands, you turn the crank and wind the rope around the drum until you see the hook. The drum locks when the rope has been drawn entirely up. The weight of the rock is in the buckets pulls at the rope wrapped around the clock's drum. Slowly, it begins to unwind, turn the drum, and move the clock's gears. Which means it should be almost 4 because I'm behind it. I'm seeing it in reverse, right? So if I climb back down the ladder, that was 4, right? Oh, hi, sir. I guess I can't climb down right now. You hear 3 distinct bongs in the clock tower's bell. The doors of your side open. Oh, yeah, so that's actually at 3 right now. Good. The scepter is made of the same cast iron as the statue itself. Indeed, it is part of the statue. It flares out into 2 tongs at the end. These tongs hold a black stone headpiece in place. The statue clearly represents a Sartan, perhaps royalty, given the crown and the scepter he holds. The entire figure is made of wrought iron, save for the headpiece of the scepter, which is carved from a glossy black stone. Do you want to come to life? Hang out? Motion? This is far from the ground. The spell has no immediate effect, but if someday a work crew takes the statue down for cleaning, they'll be in for a surprise. Okay. How do I climb back down? I want to climb back down, please. You can't climb down with the rope while it's wound around the drum. Alright. Put it back. Oh. Escapement. No, wait. Lever. Pull the release lever. As soon as you pull the lever, the drum starts spinning uncontrollably. The rope gradually unwinds till almost it reaches the ground. But I need this to hit 4. So hit that. Now turn this crank. And then just wait. 4 bongs! Alright, release! Climb down. Dish over. Into the house. Aha! You stand in the foyer of a small house. Stairs lead up to another level, and the double doors are open! Gotta do a save. Don't zap me, magic man. Hello? There's no one in here? This is a room of learning. A few books and papers are scattered on across every surface, but there's room for much more. The desk is the focus of the room, perhaps the place that most of the work has been accomplished. And he's just kind of chilling here. What's the book? The book is a leather-bound collection of notes. It looks fairly new. The dead butler jerks into motion, shuffles out the double doors, closing them behind him. Oh shit, did he just lock me in here? Along with the old lady. Let's take the book. What book is this? Graphics. Oh, okay. I record these notes in no particular order with no particular format. Should this text be read by others than myself, I can apologize in advance. My name is Balthazar, and I am the king's personal necromancer. My duties include raising and maintaining the royal servants, though my deeper interests lie in the pursuit of other lost magical arts. The following notes comprise the results of a lifetime of my research into those arts, as well as my personal musings on these and other matters. Necromancy. Can I learn some necromancy? I've never considered the practice of necromancy to be on strong moral ground. We have established that in order to survive in this harsh world, the dead are required to serve the living. Their labor supports our existence. But do we truly know what we're doing? What exactly are we bringing back, and how do our tamperings affect the rest of the wave? The dead never appear especially unhappy, merely confused. In their own unfathomable minds, they exist in a time previous to their deaths. They perform the duties which they performed in life. In fact, it's almost impossible to teach them anything new. Their capacity to focus on an unfamiliar task is minimal. A corpse can be given new orders, but in due course, depending on the nature of the particular specimen, it will inevitably revert to modes of behavior it demonstrated in life. There is no harm done when the tasks that the specimen performed in life have some application after death, but sometimes those tasks have little or no worth in our world. And yet the corpse, living mentally in its formal reality, cannot be persuaded to abandon its behavior. Occasionally, the behavior can be modified to one of useful purposes, but more often all we can do is ignore the corpse, which strikes me as a regrettable waste of manpower. Nevertheless, even this densest corpse can be used for menial tasks, and this becomes their primary value. Corpses can be made to perform functions which the living cannot, or would not, perform. I can't recall a time when battles were waged by living soldiers. Why trouble ourselves when we have available so many who have already fallen? Their insensitivity to pain allows them to sustain blows that would cripple a living soldier. The dead don't stop until they can no longer move. In addition to war, corpses can be induced to undertake all potentially harmful tasks, such as fending off attacks from would-be predators. Claws and poison stings are fearful only to those who are aware of the consequences. Personally, I feel that we should be focusing our magic on keeping ourselves alive, rather than on resurrecting ourselves from death. With the plague more rampant than ever, we are fighting a losing battle. Even now, the dead outnumber the living. It's a good note in there, especially about poison and stuff, because maybe I can get one of these corpses to open up that door for me with the arrows. Because if a snake bites him, who cares? Who cares? I'll be fine. Possession. Whenever I begin to research a new spell, I always start by attempting to build runes onto established spells. Sometimes an entirely new spell can be discovered by adding a single rune onto a totally unrelated spell. This was the case with possession, the art of casting one's soul into a lower life form. I started by taking some basic runes and building onto them. Many of the standard bases turned out to be dead ends. I forged through some of my ancient texts without much success, but I did discover an obscure warding spell of awesome power. One wouldn't think that a warding spell could be manipulated into a possession spell, but forceful spells are sometimes born from the most unlikely sources. The warding spell has a long history. I don't know if it has ever been used in Abarak. It can only be cast by a group of very powerful Sartan. The spell creates a huge shield that repels any foreign magic. I remain uncertain as to its original purpose. The diagram of its rune structure follows. New spell for Jared. Using this as a base, I experimented by adding variations of runes onto the end. The process was long and tedious, but as it happened, only one rune was needed to fashion an altered spell. The diagram of the new spell follows. Two spells, really. The result was the possession spell. Testing it proved somewhat difficult. There are certain limitations inherent in the magic. One can only cast one soul into a lower life form, such as the pakas we use as beasts of burdens. 2. One must have physical contact with the target. The soul transfers through touch, so the spell cannot be cast over distance. 3. While one is inhabiting the possessed body, the original body is rendered immobile and helpless. I have some theories regarding the dynamics of the spell. If the original body is for some reason destroyed, the soul should be capable of continued existence in the new body. Eventually, however, that soul will forget its previous existence and come to think and behave in accordance with the inclinations of the possessed body. But even then, the original soul should prove retrievable by the application of certain spells. It might even be possible to reconstruct the original body by using the host body while the soul still exists. Unfortunately, my research has not revealed the spells required to accomplish this, the knowledge of which would have been of great comfort during the test phase of possession. The extent of our lost knowledge is shameful. Surely our ancestors had access to these innumerable other magical spells, and I am merely passing over well-trodden ground. If only my own library was more complete. So now I know how to transfer souls, which has to be done through touch, but more importantly, if there's a thing out there or being out there with a soul trapped in it, it's possible to retrieve the soul out of it and return it back to its former self or knowledge. Neat. A lot in this book. Unravel illusion? Another art that has intrigued me for some time is illusion. I have many books on this subject, though none of them detail the entire spell. The use of the magic produces insidious results. The spell speaks directly to the reasoning center of the brain of higher animals, such as Sartan, Patron, and even the mensch races. The spell persuades the brain to accept that something is there when it isn't, or that something isn't there when it is. For example, an illusion spell can create a table in the middle of an empty room. Even though the person viewing the table might grasp the table is an illusion, he will not be able to pass his hand through it, because the spell has convinced his brain otherwise. Possibilities around for employing this spell, and I regret that all attempts to reproduce it have left me nothing to show for my efforts. However, I have been somewhat more successful in researching the Unravel illusion spell by approaching it from reverse. My reasoning is that I might be able to build the spell by first determining how to break an illusion. At the time of this writing, I have not discovered the spell, but I suspect I am very close. Can I see those runes? Ooh, the Exodus. So much lore. I knew that this day would come. Water has become more scarce each day. The fields of Chiron grass are withering, and the lake, our primary water source, is drying up. Soon the lake will be nothing but mud, and then little more than rock and dust. The Colossus must be failing. When our ancestors built it, the Colossus was intended to last forever, heating our world, melting the sea of ice above, and distributing the water throughout. Its magic is dying. We must travel back into the core of Abarak, where our ancestors originated, where the remaining magic is strongest. Life will still be possible there, although all I've seen are pictures and descriptions in my texts. I'm sure that if I could examine the Colossus firsthand, I might be able to determine the problem and help correct it. There is no other choice. We shall sail back to Chiron Necros, to the palace of Clytus XIV, the current dynast, on the northwestern edge of the Fire Sea. Out of respect, we shall beseech the Majesty for permission to live in Chiron Necros while the Colossus is being repaired. I don't anticipate any resistance. Who would refuse refugees, especially ones eager to help correct the problem? And as I have stated, we have no choice but to go, for life in Telestia will shortly become unfeasible. The problem of transporting the dead is an extremely challenging one. Many of them, removed from their familiar surroundings, will grow disoriented. 3 at least will find it impossible to adapt, so we've decided to leave them behind. The first is my own servant, Arimas. He has been with my family for as long as I can remember. Although his thoughts are clear as the best of the dead, he is simply too frail to undertake the journey. I will leave him where he is most comfortable. The second is my nanny. Lately, she has fallen victim to repetitive behavior, that of reading children's stories over and over again. Should the book be taken away from her, she is despondent until it is returned. Not only will she be useless to us where we are going, I doubt she could survive the trip intact. The last is Jethro, one of crop workers. He is among the most physically well-developed corpses that we have, but his brain is like a sieve. He waters his crops as if they were still growing, as if there was still water to pour onto them. If he is instructed to do something else, he will perform that task for a few moments, only to wander right back to watering the crops. We can't spare one of the living to supervise him by continually reminding him to accompany us, and we haven't the time to train one of the dead to it, so it would be best to leave him here. I leave these notes for you to find, reader. Their purpose is to shed light onto who we are and where we have gone, so that you will follow in their path. Do not remain here. Life is impossible. Follow us to the core, where we have a fighting chance. Whoa, that was a lot. But now I know about that city. You have learned 2 new spells. Hell yeah. I now know Ward and Possession. Both seem helpful. Well, I guess we're good here. I can try to make my way to the I feel like I'm supposed to do more with this. And find a way past that snake, but we'll see. Alright, that's gonna do it for this episode. Alright, lots happened. Got lots of spells, lots of lore. This whole fireplace sure is neat. I hate the nanny. Oh, excuse me. But we're gonna call it here. Well, we'll keep going. Again, when I originally played the game, I do remember getting past this part too. Like I said, once we get to the part with the dog and the stone starts glowing, we're closer to where I was when I originally played. But that's gonna do it for this episode. And as always, thank you guys so very much for watching. See you next time.